With new seasons comes new metas, but an even harder chance of finding something you enjoy while staying competitive. Today, I'm going to bring you the top 5 best SMGs for Season 5, and hopefully, one of these options are going to be one that resonates with you. All of them sit within about 50 milliseconds of TTK, so realistically, any of them are going to win. Um, they will take on just about anything else in the meta. So it comes down to now no longer about do you have the best one and more of do you have one that you enjoy using. Let's go ahead and get into them. I've already built them for you so you all can see them, and let's see what it's about. So up first on the list, we have one of my favorites right now and one of the fastest weapons in the game right now for TTK up close, and it is the Owen gun. This is a early season 1 and 2 Vanguard favorite. This is my build, and you've probably heard me say it before, but the Owen with no barrel actually has one of the fastest time to kills with the 8mm Kurt 60 round mag. But you want to take the recoil booster to top that off, and then I use the M38 Slate 2.5. And a lot of people ask me, why do I use this? Well, it's because if you use the scope, I mean, you're already zooming in a bit so you don't see the side mag, but it also gives you the slate across the top of it, which actually puts you above the magazine whenever you're using that one. So it actually allows you to fight close without having the magazine blocking your view. Super useful. Combo a lot of horizontal recoil control with brace, and this gun is extremely easy to use up close and even at a pretty good distance. So it's a super awesome Owen build right there for you. Number 2 on the list, we've got the Armaguerrero. The Armaguerrero took some nerfs this season, and it actually took a nerf to one of its magazines that made it one of the fastest times to kill in the game. But it turns out that the 8mm Kurtz, the one I preferred anyways, is now the one to go to. This build features a lot of recoil control, but also features stipple grip, because realistically, when it comes down to SMG combat, the first bullets are generally the most important. So I like to run stippled on a lot of my SMGs. The body is a good one, but actually probably one of the best bets is the Skeletal, as it does offer a lot of the initial recoil and ADS and movement speed and stuff. But just in case you need more recoil control, the body DA is where it's at. Comboing that with sleight of hand and quick at a 72 round mag, you're never going to be caught without bullets. And it's beautiful weapon to choose. Up next, we've got the brand new RA225. The RA225 is extremely competitive in this build. If you change it off the 7.62 Grinko 38 round mag, you actually fall out of what I would say competitive is. The 55 round mag is realistically what I want to be the best, but the 7.62 Grinko is really providing you all the things you actually need. And so this gun, though competitive in time to kill, is really best only for basically 1v1s. If you are good at landing all of your shots, 1v2s can be possible, but anything past that and you're basically going to get caught and reload. You can use sleight of hand to buff that recoil a little, or that reload speed a little bit, but tight grip really comes a long way, because the gun, even in its more controllable builds, is still a little rattly, like a little bit left to right recoil. And so I like to use stippled along with tight grip to kind of bring things in. One thing to note is it's been suggested that tight grip and the stipple don't work together, but I've also heard otherwise. So one of your other options, if you find that tight grip might not be working for you, is to take sleight of hand or spotter to get the additional range, or steady to get the ADS firing movement speed. If I was not using tight grip, I would run sleight of hand, especially with a smaller magazine. This is probably going to be the build I would recommend to start with, but just in case, if tight grip works, I would recommend running that, or you can swap out stippled for polymer and then just double down on the tight grip. And then this is going to be basically the build you get for the death glow, which is what you see up here. Up next on the list is one that you've been seeing a lot returning, and it is the PPSH. This is going to be for those of you who like to hip fire. This one has an extremely competitive TTK right now as well, and is very good for getting up in people's faces. And again, if you are not one that enjoys ADSing, or you find yourself having to panic fire a lot, say you're running with an aggressive AR and you want to have something for even closer range, This is probably going to be your answer here. This is the PPSH. This is the Vanguard PPSH to be more specific. And realistically, everything here is made specifically for hip fire, up close, barrel snub. Very competitive. And by removing the requirement ADS, you actually get the drop on a lot of fights that you would technically generally lose. But because everybody else is trying to ADS to you and you can just hip fire through them, this one does wonders. Very fast fire rate, massive magazine. You can take on large sections of teams as long as your shot's on. And overall, it feels really good. It's really hard to miss shots with this if you're on target due to recoil, as hip fire is generally easier to control on recoil when it comes to these style builds. So again, this is your super aggressive. If there was a rating of 1 to 10 on how up in their face you're going to be, you're going to aim for 0. You're literally putting this thing straight in their pocket and pulling the trigger. So PPSH, and now the reigning king, and the king that has been the king for a long time that nobody likes to talk about, but it's still one of the most disgusting SMGs in the game, and that is the Type 100. The Type 100 is a weapon that constantly gets talked about, but everybody ignores. The Type 100 is the fastest killing SMG in the game, and it has been for a long time, but people still forget to use it, and I don't know why. The weapon itself has a lot of left to right recoil. We are running strifed and grooved together to cut down a lot of that. And then the Warubashi grip folding, Warubashi, for the initial recoil control while keeping our movement speed pretty decent. We are running Gung Ho. Gung Ho is going to remove not only the initial sprint to fire speed debuff that a lot of it's going to be offering, but it also allows you to fire while sprinting, which means you can turbo sprint around the corner firing already and win a lot more fights than you're probably going to expect. We're running quick on top of that because we do want to get up in their faces, and the Sakura short irons because, man, iron sights on these guns are beautiful, wonderful. I love them. They are a lot of fun to run, and you end up just with, I would say, a more reliable TTK, because what ends up happening is the ADS speed is just faster. If you can't work with the irons, the slate reflector is perfect. It is probably the one that most everybody's going to take. I just am an iron sight kind of guy, and so I'm going to recommend it. So we're going to go ahead and jump over here, and I'm going to show you the charts for them, because it does help. It does help to see these numbers live. This is the charts for all of it. So these are the numbers up close. You'll see the Owen at 580, the Armaguerrero at 594, the Type 100 at 560, the RA225 at 583, and the PPSH at 598. Keep in mind, most of those are all going to be ADS with the exception of the PPSH. So the PPSH at a 598, if you consider that most of these weapons are going to have an ADS time of, like, let's see, 316 milliseconds. So when you add that on top of that, those guns end up at about 800, 900 milliseconds, whereas the PPSH just starts firing instantly at 600. So the PPSH is going to win a lot of these gunfights, especially if they are already not ADSing. So do not sleep on the PPSH just because of the fact that it is one of the lowest on the list here. It does not suffer from the ADS time issue. Similar to that is the Type 100 with Gung Ho. You ignore the sprint to fire time, and you can start firing instantly, which gives this also a disgusting TTK, especially up close. As if you run around the corner and run right into somebody, you can begin firing immediately and then transition to ADS while firing and end up pretty much cutting out all of that altogether as well. All of these choices are great. Obviously, if you're going to get out here to the long distance, the Type 100 still hits the 560 all the way out to 20 meters. The only other weapon that continues to hold their range, really, is the PPSH, which hits 690 milliseconds at, well, as you can see, infinitely here, which is kind of surprising that you can hip fire the PPSH up to 690 milliseconds, up to 40 meters here. So that is a bit disgusting. If you learn to control the recoil on that, it does get a bit out of hand for most players after that. And then you see the Type 100 hits to 840, and the RA is 848 at about 27 meters and on, also maintaining second place, pretty much tied across them. So those are the guns that I recommend right now if you're looking to run some SMGs in Warzone and you really don't know what to run. There is only a couple of those that are actually considered meta right now. And so the rest of those are going to throw people off. They're not going to expect the TTK coming from these weapons that they don't ever really see. All of these are going to be paired best with either a sniper rifle that you believe yourself with 100%. Because you need to be able to have some long distance engagements. So looking at something like a 3-line, or if you are just a crack shot with the Vanguard or the Modern Warfare Kar 98, and you know you can make those follow-up shots. As a reminder, the Vanguard Kar 98 just recently got a buff, and with one of my builds, you can actually reach out and take out people at about 93 meters. That is going to be this build right here. If you are looking for a Kar 98, obviously you're probably going to take a sight, as you may not be crazy like me. But if you're looking for a Kar 98 that can reach out and just tap somebody, people are not going to be expecting this thing. This is out to 93 meters for a one-shot headshot, and for a quick ADSing, quick firing sniper rifle, that is going to throw a lot of people off. So don't sleep on that as well. I do recommend that with any of those SMGs. And then also you're looking at any ARs that you can maintain combat at range with. The KG is still a wonderful choice. The Grau is the meta choice right now. The STG is a wonderful choice right now. You can also utilize something similar to, say, the Bar, which just recently got a buff on its 8mm Clouser. The NZ is still really good. The Volksstammgewehr, if you're actually a fan of that one still hits really well. The Automaton and the Cooper, pretty much most of the Vanguard ARs are going to be sitting in a really good place to combo with any of these SMGs. But check them out. And if you have a favorite AR to run with one of these SMGs, let me know. And I would love to do a series of videos for the ARs as well, on ones that you all recommend and that I would recommend as well. But thank you all so much for checking out the video. I would love to have you in one of my streams. We stream 7 days a week at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing the games, doing things, living the life. And if you enjoy the video, drop a like, tell a friend. I appreciate y'all very much. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful evening, and I will see you all again soon. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, peace.